Audience exclusive.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Beautiful Subconscious. I am your host, Shell Marie. So this year is tapering off. 2023 is slowly but surely signing off. And let's bring it back to slowly. That could be debatable. You could be steamrolling your way on out of here. So maybe take this moment right now just to check on in. How are you seeing out this year? If you are crawling to the finishing line, punishing yourself, like I've just got the shit that I said that I wanted to get done to do, and it's coming from that space of like pure exhaustion, you're not helping yourself. You are not honoring yourself. You are not valuing yourself. Please take this time to just check on in and give yourself some grace to acknowledge everything that you experienced this year, the highs and the lows and the challenges and the triumphs you have gotten through. All of it you've gotten through it. You're here in this moment. And that deserves to be acknowledged. And you deserve to have the grace to see out this year a little more heart-centered, a little more at home with your own vibrancy, and not just, running on fumes to cross the finish line and hoping for reprieve the moment 2024 ticks over. So that's just what I would like to start off with. And yeah, if you can, allow yourself the grace just to really celebrate everything that you've accomplished and moved through this year, because I have no doubt it's more than what you give yourself credit for. So today's episode is all about when you call for what you want, don't be surprised when the shit comes up. So this is quite common with my clients where we're asking for stuff, they're wanting to move and ascend to that next level of their wealth, or like, I'm ready for this business to take off. I'm ready for this relationship to be called in. I'm tired of my own BS and I'm calling it in. So when they do, it is going to it shows what's been holding them back, where they need, what's unresolved in their subconscious that they have been dancing around, avoiding and barricading themselves from, in hope that they don't have to deal. When you rise, you got to deal with the lower shit that's keeping you held back. You got to deal first and foremost. So what happens is we get the concept of what we want. We will require a different version of ourselves, a higher version of ourselves, or the version of themselves that are aligned to that reality. And so to align to that reality, you're going to need to let go of what no longer is needed in the current version of yourself. So it's like, we'll use the analogy of the radio station. This song, I'm tired of it. I've heard it 1,000,001 times. I want a different radio station. So you're turning that dial, because we're old school like that. You're turning that dial and you're noticing the interferences, and the clarity of it is just, it's not crisp. You're feeling like that song's just not quite there. That's the same thing. We got to work out what the interferences is so you can have that clear connection to the outcome that you want and the reality that you deserve and desire to call in. So how that can often show is a lot of roadblock after roadblock, and you're like, man, why? What the heck? It can show up as, all right, this is what you really want, then I'm going to test you. It's going to feel like you're being tested, but it's just showing you the areas of your subconscious that are holding on to issues or imprints or experiences or emotions that have not been dealt with, that you have created and are compensating for in hope that you won't have to experience that pain or the struggle that it's creating. But the moment you dive through it, you disarm it, you disable it, and you grab the wisdom from it, and you take that wisdom to rise to that higher level that will acquire the dreams that you deserve. And that's what this is all about. Is it fun moving through your junk? I don't know. It's debatable depending on who you ask. I don't mind it as much anymore, but I get, for the majority of people, it seems like such hard work. But like I said, it's going to be even harder just dealing and settling. And later in life, you're going to be like, man, I should have just stepped up. And you don't want to be living your life with I shoulders, in my opinion. So the things that will come up will seem really, really challenging. It's going to challenge actions that you need to take. Is going to challenge maybe interactions with people that you know might be a bit confrontational. And then so that's why you've resisted it. That's why you don't want to take that step forward. It's going to, there's a fear or a perception in your mind that I don't want to hurt anyone if I go in this direction. We know that we're not responsible for anyone else's happiness. And I'm going to speak to the parents on here that can be a hard one to really land in, because it's like, I never want to hurt my kids. Like, I don't want to bring any pain to them, for sure. This isn't about recklessly, going about your own stuff and pummeling everyone energetically along the way. And when you are aligned to what you really deserve, you've got an evenness of vibrancy and peace. And it's those things that you will take the actions in that regard. And yeah, it might take a second for, say, if you have kids, to adjust, but when you think, I need to make sure I don't hurt them, on a different level, what you're really saying is, I don't believe they have the power within themselves to be able to handle any hurt or any adversity that comes their way. So I am going to make sure I overcompensate and take ownership of their happiness, which is disempowering them. By you thinking that they can't deal or handle things is a space of disempowerment. And when you believe it about them, then that means that there's a part that you believe it about yourself. So you just want to gauge in like, hey, if I'm thinking that this is going to play out and doesn't, like, it's going to play out in a space of like, I'm going to hurt someone and I feel terrible about that. That's actually something that's going on within you and nothing to do about them. But I get it at the same time, because we have this higher knowingness. And as that filters down into our human everyday life, it's not always clear cut. There's other stuff that we need to deal with. Absolutely. And a prime example in my experience was after, my ex-husband and I separated, there was a time now I'm like, I'm ready for a relationship. I'm ready for that, connection again, and have someone, have my person. And I, got into a relationship, and what I was not expecting to be as challenging as what it was for me was because we have such a good family dynamic with my kids and their dad and myself. It's like, this little quadrant it's got its thing going on. It's quite peaceful. And so to bring in another party and, their world and their family and their kids, and like any blended family would know, it just takes a second to integrate. And then you're considering like how that's landing for the dynamic now, how that's landing for the kids, how's it landing for his kids and them. And it's just a whole bunch of consideration of everyone's pace in how they want this to move forward. And it can be a lot. In my experience, it felt like it was a lot. And I'm like, I've called this in. This is what I wanted. And now I have to deal with the fact that I'm going to have to let go of some of the ways that I didn't want things to change. The one thing that we can be certain of are things are always going to change. And it's just knowing that, hey, if you are staying true to you and trusting that everything's always happening for us, and on the highest level, everyone's going to be okay. Everyone's going to navigate through their own way. And if you really hold that knowingness, like sincere knowingness, then the idea is to be able to have the faith and the courage to be able to let go of what it kind of looks like now in order for it to land in how you truly desire it to be. And so you can have this like inner battle of like, I know this higher knowingness, but like this part of all my stuff and all my wounds of what that could look like, and, a family being separated and then other ones and then their emotions. It's a lot. It's truly a lot. And I'm so thankful for kinesiology to be able to put that stress in live time into the circuit, to be able to clear what's underneath it and to really get an awareness of that, because it started to, realign me to that clarity of like, you know what, like, firstly, we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to be happy, and whatever that looks like. And if I truly genuinely honor that within myself, then that's the gift that everyone, it's like that permission slip again on a subconscious level. Everyone has the permission to go about it themselves their own way. And so I see people living their lives, and I see, I think about my kids, and I'm like, we do say it for sure, like, as long as they're happy. But what makes them happy might look different to what I had expected for them. But if they're truly, and we're helping example that they're truly genuinely saying yes to themselves from that whole heart space, then by all means go for whatever makes you happy, because I am in your corner and I'm supporting that fully. It's like anyone that I see, clients that I see and their different dreams, it's just like, I love this so much when they're just in that full ownership of their own happiness. And everyone's journey and their desires are going to look so different. The values that we all hold might show up in our own worlds differently. So it's just a good awareness that shit comes up. When you're calling for things, shit will come up. If you're calling for more wealth, you're going to see all the ways that you have mistrusted money or mistrusted yourself around money, had belief structures around money, saw the way that money was treated growing up, what would be like these fears around, if I had more money, what does that mean? Am I going to have a target on my back? There is so much that plays out, and it'll start to come up when you command more for yourself. And just know it wouldn't show if it wasn't ready to be dealt with. It would simply stay in the subconscious. Because you are commanding more for yourself, more of the stuff and more of the resistance that had held you back will now start to show up in your world and within yourself in order for you to resolve. So just know that this is a good thing. So my advice, my humble advice, when you are leveling up in your relationship or in your wealth or in your career or anywhere, please give yourself the extra bit of nurture and compassion. It is not going to always be easy when you are hit with all the things that has held you back and protected you from feeling pain. It's going to take some grace and some tenderness and some actually like physical support. Like, please keep yourself hydrated is always a great I think it's super beneficial to always stay hydrated as you energetically move through the toxins, in inverted commas, toxins of these resistance and the toxins of your body and the toxins of your thoughts and the toxins of your emotions. As you to detoxify yourself through water is a great, I think is highly beneficial. Magnesium, I think, is absolutely very beneficial too. Magmist, of course, that's always available, but float tanks as well. If you're moving through some epic stuff, like really load yourself up on some float tanks, walk, get in nature, seek the people that can help support, because, as you rise, it's going to need a new version of you, and every new version of you is going to just have a refinement of structure, and that structure is going to come from all different types of support. So I hope that was beneficial for you. If you are wanting to really dive in and start to clear up what's been holding you back for years, for decades, for your life, know that you can. I have my initial consult and session. So jump on board this, because it's not going to last forever. There's going to be a limit of how many people I can see each week. So I want you to be one of them and for us to journey through this together, because what you want wants you back. So thank you for tuning in. It is always a pleasure. And until next week, take care of you.